Alright, this one should be interesting. My top 10 low-rated films that horror films specifically, that I like. Movies that are low-rated on IMDb, like, in the 4s or below, that I enjoy. Which is the opposite of the ranking I did last, which was top 10 classics that everyone loves that I don't. A lot of these movies I've already reviewed, so if you want to hear my thoughts on some of these films, just check out my reviews for them. So first honorable mention will be a found footage movie called Megan is Missing. This has a 4.6 on IMDb and has a 1.5 on Letterboxd. Everyone hates this movie for some reason, and I think it's a really effective, disturbing as hell found footage movie with a very dark, bleak ending. So I just think it's underrated as hell. So check it out. It's found footage. It's about, child abduction. Two girls in high school who are best friends. One of them gets abducted, and then the other one is trying to figure out where she is, and then she gets abducted, and it just gets really crazy at the end. So the last 15 minutes of this movie are very, very disturbing. Second honorable mention, very silly, stupid movie called Elves from 1989. This movie had me laughing my ass off. It's hilarious because of how terrible the writing is, the acting, everything. It's about a monster elf. It's called Elves, plural, but there's only one elf in the movie and it doesn't look like your traditional elf. It's just like a monster. And there's like Nazis involved. Like the plot's about the Nazis or creating the elf or something like that. It's been a while. But yeah, it's out there. It's crazy. Very low budget. It's garbage, but I enjoyed it. So bad, it's entertaining kind of film. And I think you can watch it on YouTube. So the next movie I did a whole review for. It was a Patron request, and that is Secret Santa. This movie the other movie, Elves, has 4.1 on IMDb. This has a 4.8, and the last movie and this movie, very lesser known. I don't think a lot of people know about this one, but this is another really low budget film that's really gory. It's like a throwback to 80s slashers. It looks like a VHS, like they put that filter on it. And I just really enjoyed it. So check out my review, and you hear all my thoughts there. Next honorable mention will be Basket Case 3, The Progeny. This has a 4.7. I forget what the second one had, but it's higher than this. It's in the 5s. A lot of people like Basket Case 2. I think 3 is a little bit more entertaining than Part 2, in my opinion. 2 looks better. It feels a little bit bigger than Part 3, but 3 is just more entertaining, in my opinion. So, yeah, check out my review. Again, I've reviewed this one. 4.7 on IMDb. And last honorable mention will be Slumber Party Massacre 2. Again, have a review for it. This has a 4.6. That's insane. Like, I think I might slightly prefer the original over this one. I'm not sure, but it's been a while since I've watched them both back to back, but they're entertaining. I like the first one. I really like the second one also because of the whole third act, the guitar killer guy, the song and dance he does. I'm not usually a musical person, but when this guy starts singing and dancing, I actually enjoy it. It's the exception. So, Slumber Party Massacre 2, underrated sequel. Check it out. So, now let's get into my top 10. Number 10 is the first of a big franchise that a lot of people hate this whole franchise, and I like a couple of them. And this one is Leprechaun. This has a 4.7, 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. I prefer the third one over the original, but I like the first one. I like the third one. I like the newer one that came out recently. So half the franchise is actually okay in my opinion, but the other half is just garbage. But yeah, a 4.7, like, come on, it's Leprechaun. You should know what it is going into it. It's actually entertaining. It's funny. It's goofy as hell. Again, I have a review for this one. I have a review for, I believe, every single movie coming up except for one that I briefly talk about in one of my top 10 videos. So yeah, every single movie coming up I have a review for. So number 9 is Poltergeist III. This has a 4.6 and a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. And, this isn't the best of the franchise, but it's got a lot of effects and it's well paced. And I just don't understand the hate for it. It's the first movie again, but in a skyscraper building in Chicago. You got the little girl back again. You got a great cast in it. So I don't understand the hate. It's a little confusing, convoluted at times, like what exactly is happening. But whatever. They do say Carol Ann's name like 1,000 times, and that can get annoying. But still, I just can't believe this movie's in the 4s. That shocked me when I looked it up. Holy shit. Next up is Black Christmas 2006, the true remake, not the other garbage that came out a few years ago. So yeah, this one, or Black Xmas. I saw this at the theater, so I have some nostalgia for it. I saw this before the original, and this has a 4.6 again, and a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. And this one just, it made some mistakes. It tried to over-explain everything, and the first one was more in your mind, and they don't show you and tell you everything. This one was like, we're going to show you everything, the gore, the kills, and we're going to tell you everything about Billy. But it's still a well-shot movie with beautiful ladies in it, a very sexy cast. I don't care if you think I'm sexist for saying that. I've had some people comment like, this guy is just a pervert. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I think women are attractive. I'm not going to apologize for liking women. But yeah, very beautiful cast. And I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And I just think this movie gets a little too much hate. And it's only because it's a remake. Remakes always get shit on. And next up is Seed of Chucky, number 7. So, this has a 4.8 on IMDb and a 34%, so that's not too low, but still low. This one, it's about the son of Chucky. That's what the original title was going to be. And, this one has, it's more of a black comedy, like very just silly as hell, with some of the most gore in the franchise. And I just think it's a blast. I still enjoy it. Yeah, it's definitely like a tonal shift from the other ones, because 4, I feel like 4 is more balanced. But yeah, it I don't know, as a kid 4 was still terrifying, but I guess as an adult it's more comedy than horror. But this one just went further with the comedy, and that's why a lot of people hate it. Number 6 is Zombie 3. Lucio Fulci Zombie 3, which I prefer over the original. I don't care if you think that's blasphemy, but I just think it's way more entertaining, action-packed, more gore. It's just really fun. I do not have a review for this one, but this did make it somewhere in my top 10 of 1988 video. I think it was like an honorable mention. And this has a 4.8 on IMDb. And I believe Zombie 1's in like the 6s somewhere. This is just, again, a lot of fun. It's, like I said, it has a lot more like action and a lot of gore, and like the zombies, there's a lot more zombies in this one. They're like running around and like using weapons at one point, I think. It's just crazy. So, underrated. It's not as bad as Zombie 4. I mean, come on, Zombie 5. Isn't there one with like birds and some shit? Like, this isn't the worst in the franchise. It doesn't deserve this low rating. The next one up has a just criminally low rating. I can't believe it's in the fucking 3s. Next up, number 5, is House 4, the Home Deadly Home. And I'm wearing a house shirt. House 4 is my favorite sequel. I think it's, again, a lot of fun, for lack of a better word, but it's just a lot of fun. Like the pizza scene, I love the lead actress in it. She was in The Nest, and it's just more of a comedy. Again, just like Seed of Chucky, they went further with the comedy. The first one was more horror comedy. The fourth one was just way more comedic. But I just thought it was well paced, and I liked the setting, this new house location, and the lead actress, the comedy, the pizza face, Kane Hodder. So I just can't believe it's in the freaking 3s. That's ridiculous. Next up, number 4 is Drive-Thru. Lesser known, but I really enjoy this movie because of nostalgia, and I'm a sucker for slasher movies. I saw this at a really young age, and this has a 4.4, and it's just a slasher movie that kind of takes the plot from Nightmare on Elm Street, a guy coming back from the dead. Many years later, he's a a mascot for like a food chain. He's like Ronald McDonald, but his name is Horny the Clown. He has a killer looking, like a kick-ass looking meat cleaver. It looks awesome. His outfit looks awesome, and he's coming back from the dead. He's supernatural, and he's killing the kids of the people who lit him on fire on accident. So it's like a prank gone wrong thing. Again, it's kind of like a throwback to 80s slashers. And I really enjoy it. I got 2 reviews for this movie. One where I'm a little bit more critical, but then the other one where I'm less critical. So you get 2 different versions of a review from me for this movie. One where I like it and one where I kind of don't like it. So number 3 is Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. This is very underrated. It's up there with Jason Goes to Hell. When you ask people like which one they hate the most, it's always Jason Goes to Hell or Part 5 because there is no Jason in it. But just because there's no Jason in it doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It still plays out very much like a Jason movie. We got these kids at a halfway home, in the woods environment, and they're just getting picked off one by one by this mystery killer. It plays out like the first movie. And I just think it's so freaking underrated. I can't believe how much hate it gets. It has a 4.7 on IMDb and an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie is so quickly paced, so quotable. The characters are just so quirky. I love almost every character in this movie. I can quote so much from it. I have a blast with it. Number 2 is a movie that a lot of people probably haven't heard of. It came out a few years ago. It's got a 4.5 on IMDb, and that's Dry Blood. This movie is just really creepy, disturbing. It's a psychological horror movie. And it's a movie that by the end, you're not quite sure exactly what's going on, or like you can have different theories about it. Like, I think this happened and maybe this didn't actually happen, or maybe this is what this scene meant. Like, this movie just had me thinking so much after it was over. It kept me up, and I just had so many different theories. Like, you don't know when things are actually happening and like what order. Like, it's a movie with a very intriguing premise, and the ending I love it. Like, I talk about it for so long in my spoiler discussion. I have a whole review for this movie. I just think it needs to be seen more. It's underseen. It's a very low budget movie. The only thing I can knock is the acting. It's very poor because they're not even really actors. Like, this was their first movie. The guy who is the star is the writer, the like editor, I think, or did some of the special effects and the music and so many different things. And the guy who plays the cop is the director, and he's never acted before. So the acting is not going to be that good, but there's a reason. Like, they're not really actors. So you need to check it out. It needs to be seen more. I think it's on Tubi, so you can watch it for free, and I highly recommend it. Let me know what you think about it. So number 1 is a movie that came out this year that everyone seems to fucking hate so much. I feel like it's a love or hate. There seems to not really be a middle. I'm on the love side, but this is the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie has like a 4.8. It was staying in the 5s for a good while there, but then a bunch of negative assholes got on IMDb and gave it probably a 1 for some stupid reason, and now it's in the 4s, and it has a 32% Rotten Tomatoes, and this, to me, is one of the best in the franchise, and even though I rate it the same as the original, I prefer this over the original because to me, this is just more fun. This is more gory. I like these characters, and that seems to be what most people hate is these characters. I like them. I think they're way more developed than the characters in the original. The original is not about character development. It's just look at these kids get killed one by one, and then Sally running around for 30 minutes. Like, how much do we know about Sally by the end? Almost nothing, except she has a brother in a wheelchair. That's it. And then in this movie, we got these 2 sisters that by the end, they have arcs. We know their history. We know why they're there. I'm not even entirely sure why Sally and all of them are where they are. Like, why I get their car broke down, but what exactly were they doing? Where were they heading? Doesn't matter. In this one, I just think the writing is so much better than people are giving it credit for. I think it's beautifully shot. The gore is amazing. And even when there's CGI, it's not that noticeable. The score kicks ass. Like, this movie is so fucking fun and fast paced. It's only like 70 minutes long. I just think it's a blast. I can't believe so many people hate it. It's got like an average of 2 on Letterboxd. It's ridiculous. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my number 1. So, what is your top 10 movies that are so hated and so lowly rated that you actually enjoy? You don't have to love them, just at least like them, you know. So let me know in the comments below your list. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's all an opinion. You don't need to get butthurt about it.